Steel bottle, steel bottle. Boston Celtics, steel bottle, steel bottle. Oh yeah! Steel bottle, steel bottle. Boston Celtics, steel bottle, steel bottle. Banner 19.
Beat Rob, Jim, Pekka, Jake King.
Steel bottle, steel bottle.
The Caesar on the court to get another ring.
Steel bottle, steel bottle.
Everybody in the chat now sing.
Steel bottle, steel bottle. Steel bottle, steel bottle. Boston Celtics, steel bottle, steel bottle. Oh yeah! Shut your ass up,
Daddy's always happening here.
What's happening, everybody? It's me, Jay King from The Athletic, here with Brian Robb from MassLive.com, coming to you a couple hours after the Celtics got their first home win of the season, a 125-105 shellacking of the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was another big Josh Minott game. It was another solid Nemi game. It was the first appearance of the Celtics shooters, and it was a welcome sight for a team that started off 0-3, has now rebounded a bit. B-Rob, do you have Josh Minott fever?
It's hot. It's hot. I mean, poor Ugo. He had his time in the moment, but this is not really a revelation night, Jay, for the full season, but I think Josh Minott's in the starting lineup for good now until
You said the same thing about Ugo being in the rotation after his first game.
and he was back tonight, and he's back
for 2 minutes. He
for
played
2 minutes. Listen, he's back. We can
until they play the final 2 minutes.
We'll get to that later, but Minott, I would say, has made a bit more of an impact on both ends than the 19-year-old rookie. And yeah, what do we have here tonight? Career high, 14 rebounds, 11 points. You hit your couple corner threes, Jay, and that's 3 steals, like pretty much the perfect thing that this team needs at the 4 right now. And doing it against what is, a short-handed Cleveland team, but one that obviously is still one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, his energy has helped them from day one. And it's stunning still that he didn't play in the second game of the regular season, because that makes no sense.
Right?
Every single thing that we've seen has suggested that Josh Minott is going to be a big part of this team, that he is going to help a lot, that his size, his length, his activity, they're all things the Celtics need. So it was stunning when he didn't play in that second game. It's even more stunning in retrospect after the Celtics outscored their opponents by 50 points over the last 2 games, his first 2 starts. He played 33 minutes tonight, which was a career high, and he was +8 tonight. And he's just doing all the stuff that they need, because they are going to have a smaller lineup. They don't really have many power forwards, especially now that Chris Boucher has played his way out of the rotation. They are basically like centers and small guys and Josh Minott. And Josh Minott is a bouncy, athletic energizer who has done all that stuff from day one. I would guess that Joe sat him just to make a point. I would guess that Joe knew damn well that second game of the season that Josh Minott was going to be needed, that they were going to be a better team with Josh Minott. But for whatever reason, he wanted to let Josh Minott know your minutes can go up, they can go down, they can disappear entirely if you don't do everything that's asked of you. And he's doing everything. Like they've rebounded so much better the last couple of games, and his ability to just hold his own on that and get some rebounds out of his zone and just really be a factor with his energy has been such a big deal.
Yeah, like 5 offensive rebounds I mean, the Celtics just destroyed the Cavs on the offensive glass in this game, particularly in the first half, in that massive second quarter. And it was front and center with that next with Tanimi there. But yeah, it's just like the consistency of like you have someone who crashes hard, and the big thing is like he's hitting the corner, like he's hitting enough threes, Jay. Like that's I think that always a question of Minott of being like, what is he going to be able to be enough of the spacer out there? And he not just made a couple, but I think he took them confidently, like over the course of the game. He didn't turn those shots down when they were there, and Missoula and the coaching staff much love to see that. And you can kind of see like the confidence building of him now on the offensive end as he gets more and more time out there. And he has to put them together, string together solid performances time after time here. 2 games is not going to mean much if he, has a couple of duds this weekend, but it's kind of just building off of the promise he showed in the preseason right now. And now, you hear Jaylen Brown talk about it to you post game, Jay, when you asked him about it, like just it kind of lights up a little bit when he talks about him.
Yeah. Jaylen sounds excited. Joe Mazzulla sounded less excited. He kind of pointed out like, yeah, he left some plays out there. Like, yeah, there's some things he should have done differently. He'll work on that. He's sort of like the new Nemi in some ways, where he's just like the guy Joe is going to beat up a little bit just because he wants him to get to a new level of whatever it is, execution, sharpness, intensity, whatever. He clearly sees a lot in Minott and is going to push him to get there. And so it's funny to see kind of how Joe's approached that, because like I said, it's very clear that they're a better team with Minott on the court. And it's been clear since they first took the court for preseason. And so for him to get a DMP-CD seems like mind games, seems like sort of Joe pushing a button, but
Joe's still playing him with Ugo right now.
Yeah. Ugo has dipped pretty much out of the rotation. He played 2 minutes, gave up a 3 instantly to Donovan Mitchell.
4 minutes. Let's give him
2 minutes until it was.
That's true. 2 minutes of non-garbage time.
Minutes. Yeah, he played a quick stint in the first half. I think Joe was pissed because he came in and immediately at an out of bounds play, Donovan Mitchell got open for a 3. And I think Joe was just kind of aggravated right off the start. And Ugo quickly after that was taken out of the game and did not return. Baylor Shireman played more, got some chances on Donovan Mitchell. I thought he did pretty well on Donovan Mitchell, actually, which is not really the matchup you'd expect. But I thought Shireman did a good job, and Joe shouted him out afterward for the job he did and in executing the details against Donovan Mitchell, which is obviously a tough task. And Mitchell was like outrageous in the first quarter. That first quarter was some of the best shot making you'll ever see. The Cavs were 10 for 12 from 3, and Mitchell was just hitting insane nonsense over and over. And the Celtics were right there. Sam Hauser had 5 threes off the bench in the first quarter. Like he sat out the first half of the first quarter and still hit 5 threes in the quarter. And it was just an incredible quarter. Mitchell hit some more malarkey at the end of the first quarter to make it 42-40, which is just an absurd score for a first quarter of a basketball game. And then both teams really cooled off considerably from that point forward. And Shireman helped kind of cool off Mitchell a little bit. We won't give him too much credit, but he helped a little bit to the Celtics cause. And it's notable that he's in the mix there. Basically everybody's been in the mix except Jordan Walsh. He seems like he's last in the hierarchy for now, at least. Joe can obviously change things quickly, but it seems like they're figuring some stuff out with the rotation. Like Xavier Tillman has kind of been minimized the last few games. Luka Garza has become the primary backup center. I don't think that will be with every matchup, but maybe. And then Chris Boucher, like, minimized. Josh Minott, thriving. Ugo, who knows, but not used tonight. But it does feel like they're starting to find some stuff and find sort of a mix that works here, which is good because I don't think Joe really had much of an idea at the start of the season.
Yeah, these last 2 games have come a long way in that front. Like Hauser too, like I feel like they're finding more looks for him in this bench role. Like it just seems like that's obviously a place where his shooting talents are better utilized. Like he's going to get more looks with that group, or at least be featured a little bit more in that group versus the starters. And then for obvious reasons, defensively, like Minott is a better option against starting fives. But that's kind of worked out both ways with that kind of switch so far. And yeah, like it's just guys are kind of falling into roles a little bit. And I mean, we haven't talked about a pretty big deal like Jaylen Brown in the second quarter tonight. Jay was like, oh, okay, this is Jaylen Brown is looking a lot healthier all of a sudden after he's been dealing with this hamstring for the last couple of weeks and moving around a lot. And this is, I mean, a big part of the season is a question of being like, what does this team look like with Jaylen as the number one option? And in this game, you know, outside of Donovan Mitchell's crazy first quarter, like he was the best player on the floor offensively out there by a lot, it seemed like.
Yeah, he's been really good, with the exception of probably that Knicks game when he had I don't know how many turnovers, but Jaylen has been like just solid. And that first half explosion, the shot he hit to end the first half, which ended a 20-3 run, was like just an insane play. It was kind of a funny sequence because Josh Minott fouled when the Cavaliers had the ball and the shot clock was off with like 15 seconds left. And it was a pretty bad foul. Like just sent him to the line. But also I think it seems like Joe wants the Celtics to like kind of press up when it's the other team has a last shot situation and not let them get the last shot. So it sort of gave the Celtics another opportunity there. The Cavs missed one of the free throws, and then Jaylen got a shot at the buzzer. And so the bad foul turns into a 3-1 little advantage. And Jaylen hit a super tough shot after like crossing over, crossing back, stepping back, falling into the bench, got up and really celebrated. And the Derek White still hasn't hit shots. Peyton Pritchard still hasn't hit shots, but
and they win this game by 20, Jay. They win it by 20 with though. That's kind of the crazy part about this game is that if those guys are shooting like that and like you're like, no way they're gonna beat the Cavs, much less blow out the Cavs, but they did. And so this is kind of how this kind of a game was like, kind of feel like how Joe kind of dried up this season for a game plan of like tons of threes, offensive rebound, pressure, defend the hell out of the ball, and they beat a short-handed Cavs team, but still a team that had the talent edge for sure from 1 through 10.
They got 11 threes off their bench. And it was basically from two guys. It actually was entirely from two guys, Anthony Simons and Sam Hauser. Which, and those guys can heat up. When you bring two great shooters in off the bench, that can really, help you overcome the nights when Derek White is 5 for 20, which seems to be every game so far. The nights when Peyton Pritchard is 4 for 13, which seems to be every game so far. Eventually, those guys will make shots. And I think it's a great sign for the Celtics that they have been very good with those guys on the court regardless. That is a great, great sign that those guys have been good enough at everything else that the Celtics have been, in the plus numbers with them on the court, even while they're really, really struggling to find their outside shots. It's funny because, we saw Jason Tatum go from 40% shooter, and it just kind of plummeted as he took on more and more responsibilities. And now you're seeing it happen with Derek White and Peyton Pritchard. it ain't easy to be one of the guys. And they're not necessarily the number one guy like Jason Tatum is, but their quality of shots has totally changed. They are, I would guess, I haven't looked too deep into the numbers, but I would guess the amount of off the dribble shots that those guys are taking has skyrocketed. And when you're taking a lot of off the dribble threes, doesn't matter how good a shooter you are, like it's tough to make those and make those consistently. So I still think they'll figure it out and they'll start making a lot of shots one day soon, but it hasn't happened yet. And still, the Celtics, the last couple of games have figured that out. I thought it was huge that they allowed just 11 offensive rebounds again. Only 2 offensive rebounds in the first half. And it was a weird first half. I think Cleveland only missed 18 shots, so that wasn't as low an offensive rebounding number as it would have been if they'd missed more shots. But the Celtics just doing a competent job on the defensive glass changes so much for them.
Without a doubt. And Cleveland were able to chip away more in the second half off the glass. But like you said, the Celtics have to be respectable in that area. They're not going to dominate. They're not usually going to be great for a full game, but they were great for a half, and they bought themselves a 20-point lead because of that. Because not only did they not give any second chances points up, but they also got a ton themselves. And Garza, we haven't really talked about, he's sneaky, had a really good game and a half here, I think. The second half of the Pelicans game, he had some really solid moments offensively, and now we're, offensive glass has been good here. That dude lumbers up and down the floor. To say the least.
He really does lumber. You can almost hear the court creaking underneath him while he runs.
Yeah, that is something else from that team. But the results are the results right now, and so he's at least doing what offensively enough there and holding his own defensively to a point where he was not a liability defensively in a lot of the second half. So I don't know. Guys are falling into roles here. 8 guys in double figures, Jay. We don't see that much, even on deep teams of past years, last 2 years. So that was quite the bounce tonight across the roster.
Hilarious rebounding performance from Luka Garza. And we've talked before about how he's always had a better offensive rebound rate than defensive rebound rate, which is so bizarre and weird. Tonight, 5 offensive rebounds, 0 defensive rebounds.
Just how you draw it up.
What a hilarious line. 5 offensive rebounds, totally dominant, Dennis Rodman type shit in 16 minutes. And not a single defensive rebound. It's majestic. I just, his game is something else. But he really works. He really, really works. And I thought the first quarter he helped get Hauser untracked by hustling down some loose balls and keeping plays alive. And Celtics got 5 offensive rebounds from Minott, 5 from Nemi, and 5 from Garza. That's the roadmap right there.
Yeah.
If those guys allow you to dominate the offensive glass, that's huge. And I think they should. Nemi, by the numbers, has always been an awesome offensive rebounder. Garza, by the numbers, he hasn't played much, but when he has, he's been an absolutely elite offensive rebounder. And Minott, it's very clear, just an Energizer bunny with arms that extend forever. And he's out there tipping balls and chasing after balls and just keeping possessions alive. And I think, so far the Nemi Minott duo has helped the Celtics, and I don't think that's going to stop. I just feel like their athleticism, their energy just fits next to Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard. You need that length. You need that athleticism. And when they're as active as they have been the last couple of games, then that just makes a big difference.
It's a nice balance in that lineup.
Yeah. And they're doing it right now. They're doing it. Celtics are doing it. We're doing it here at Still Potable. We'll be back as usual Monday through Friday to talk about a Celtics team that is now 2-3. 2-3, B-Rob.
If they get through this stretch 3 and 4, Jay, like that's a big win, given how brutal this schedule was
and how tough they started.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of a big game on Friday against Philly to try to get to 500. And then I think it's a nightmare matchup against Houston with the way that the Celtics have rebounded the ball. That is going to be a huge test for their defensive rebounding. We'll see how that goes, but should be a fun weekend. We will have podcasts after, I believe, each of those games. Not 100% sure about the podcast schedule yet for this weekend, but I believe each of those games. And this is beautiful. Celtics season is back, baby. Josh Minott is working. He's working. B-Rob says he's a
lock.
permanent
It's a lock to
starter,
start on Friday,
which probably means he'll be DMP on Friday.
I'm right the hot hand here.
We'll see you guys. Love you all.
Still bottle, basket, still bottle.